Welcome to Dreamy Tales, your bedtime haven. Prepare to embark on a journey of tranquility and relaxation. I'm here to weave enchanting stories that will gently guide you into a restful night's sleep. Subscribe and let the soothing whispers of Dreamy Tales be your nightly companion. Moon Dust and Moon Dreams. Chapter 1. A Bright Light in the Sky. Milo peered through his telescope at the night sky. The stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across black velvet. He sighed contentedly, gazing at constellations he had come to know so well. Then something caught his eye on the moon's surface. A strange orange glow pulsed in the moon's shadows. Milo rubbed his eyes and looked again, certain it was unlike anything he had seen before. "Rover, come quick," Milo called to his dog. Rover bounded up the stairs and sat panting next to Milo, his tongue lolling out in a doggy smile. Milo pointed to the spot on the moon. "Look, boy, see that light? I wonder what it could be." Rover cocked his head, staring intently at the moon. He gave a puzzled bark. Milo scratched Rover's ears thoughtfully. "You're right. It does seem strange. Only one way to find out. We've got to go to the moon." Milo swept his telescope side to side, searching for more clues. But the glowing spot offered no answers from so far away on Earth. He peered closer, hoping for signs of a lunar inhabitant waving a lamp. Yet the closer he looked, the more mysterious it seemed. "Maybe it's glowing moon rocks, or a lost space race," Milo said excitedly. "What do you think it could be, Rover?" Rover barked eagerly, his tail wagging fast at the idea of an adventure. Milo grinned at his enthusiastic friend and turned back to the telescope. The mysterious light beckoned him with its pulsing glow. He was simply too curious to leave the moon's secrets undiscovered. A voyage was their only choice. "We'll need a mighty fine spaceship to make the journey," Milo declared. He had no doubt that with Rover by his side, they could construct a craft worthy of flight. His heart raced at the challenge before them. At dawn, their plans would begin to take shape. For now, the bright light in the sky would have to wait, but not for long. Chapter 2. Crafting a Spaceship. The next morning, Milo gathered all the supplies he could find around the house and backyard. He brought cardboard boxes, empty cans and bottles, rolls of duct tape, string, and anything else that might come in handy. Rover accompanied Milo on his collection trips, carrying items delicately in his mouth. They piled their finds in the middle of the yard. Now came the fun part, deciding how it all fit together. Milo studied the shape of rockets in his books for inspiration. He wanted a tall command module on top for optimal viewing of the stars. Below would hang fuel canisters and landing gear. After much testing of designs drawn in the dirt, Milo found a configuration that looked promising. "All right, boy, let's get to work." Milo opened the toolkit his father had given him. He cut triangular wings from sturdy cardboard and attached them to the sides with tape. Rover handed him cans, which Milo stacked into columns for boosters. By afternoon, the basic shell had taken form. Milo switched focus to the interior. He fashioned a control panel out of an old frisbee, gluing buttons and dials cut from bottle caps. 2 bucket seats were taped side by side with padding from scrap cloth. For the all-important navigation system, Milo settled on his telescope, secured to the window. As the evening sun sank low, only a few details remained. Milo labored by lamplight while Rover kept him company. He installed flickering string lights to guide their way among the stars. And finally, a hand-painted logo for the side. Rover 1 was ready for launch. Exhausted but thrilled with their creation, Milo packed a bag of essentials while Rover fetched a ball for the journey. "We leave at dawn," Milo declared as they went inside for dinner and rest. In the morning, their adventure to the moon would truly begin. Chapter 3: Adventure in the Stars. Milo was up with the sunrise, rushing through breakfast so as not to waste a moment. He packed a final bag for Rover 1 as the dawn light crept across the sky. Soon, it would be time for liftoff. Word had spread through the small town about Milo's lunar mission, and a crowd began to gather in the backyard. "Good luck," they cheered. Milo's mother gave him a hug. "Be home before dark, dear, and have the best adventure." At last, it was time. Milo pulled on his astronaut helmet and beckoned Rover into the capsule. With a press of shiny button, the string lights flickered on. Milo revved the cardboard engines dramatically. "All systems are go for launch." In a blast of imaginary rocket exhaust, Rover 1 lifted smoothly off the ground. The crowd waved as Milo and Rover soared upward, the treetops shrinking away. Before long, the puffy clouds surrounded them. Milo gazed out at cosmic wonders through the viewing portal. Nebulas swirled in vibrant pinks and greens. Shooting stars zoomed past, their sparkling trails flashing briefly before dimming into the blackness. A drifting asteroid rock loomed ahead. Milo nudged Rover 1 into a turn just in time to avoid a disastrous crash. The moon's pockmarked surface soon came into view, growing steadily larger. Milo steered their descent expertly through the craft's manual controls. Peering down, the lunar landscape seemed ominously gray and foreign. But as they flew lower over craters and hills, Milo was struck by the sheer beauty of this alien world. At last, they touched down near a boulder-strewn valley. Milo and Rover stared out at the dusty plain, stretching endlessly before them. They had reached the moon. Milo felt a swell of pride for their little craft that had carried them so far. Now, the true adventure was only just beginning. It was time to discover what mysteries lay beyond the next ridge, under the soft glow of Earth filling half the sky. Chapter 4: Exploration on the Lunar Surface. Milo and Rover pulled on special gloves and boots for extra protection against the moon's strange environment. They did a final check of the oxygen tanks in their suits before opening the hatch. A swirling cloud of powdery dust greeted them as they descended the ladder. The moon's gray landscape stretched as far as they could see, dusted with craters, both large and small. Nothing moved on the unearthly plains. Milo gazed up at the black sky speckled with stars, brighter than he had ever seen. Earth looked so beautiful, yet so distant hanging overhead. Rover barked eagerly, his tail wagging inside his suit. Milo laughed. "Let's go, boy. Adventure calls." They trekked across the powdery surface, leaving snaking trails of footprints behind them. Inside one crater, Rover chased moon rocks that skittered across the dust like snowballs. Milo filled his sample bag with shiny stones, some vein-like, and others pockmarked with holes. He placed each find carefully, eager to show the townsfolk back on Earth. As they hiked further, the landscape changed in dramatic ways. Towering cliffs looked almost artificial in their perfect symmetry. Dark, shadowy veils stretched endlessly between distant peaks. The sinking blue earth reminded Milo that their time here was limited. "Come on, Rover. We should head back to the ship." But as they crested one last hill, Milo spotted something in the distance that made him gasp. Shining like a beacon in the twilight was what could only be the glowing light they had witnessed from Earth. Stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion in Chapter 5. For now, Milo and Rover had solved the initial mystery, but the secrets of the pulsing light were only beginning to unfold. Chapter 5. Memories of the Moon. Milo and Rover approached the glowing light cautiously. As they neared, Milo realized it was coming from inside a small crater. Peering over the rim, he gasped. Stretching across the bottom was a glowing blue pool, its luminescence pulsing in a mesmerizing rhythm. Rover barked curiously, his voice echoing in Milo's helmet. Milo glanced at his compass. They had just enough time to investigate before heading home. He clambered carefully down the slope, scooping a sample of the mysterious liquid into a vial. It glowed strong, yet caused no heat, defying everything Milo had learned about fire. Suddenly, the pool began pulsing faster, its light intensifying. Milo scrambled back up the crater wall in a panic, pulling Rover to safety. Just then, a tremor shook the moon's surface. What was happening? Milo wondered with alarm. Through his telescope, Milo spotted something emerging from the pool, a shimmering figure taking shape from the glow. Could it be? A moon fairy waved at them, smiling kindly before fading back into the light. Milo gasped, stunned by the magical sight. The tremors ceased as quickly as they began. Milo knew it was time to depart, clutching treasures of adventure and discovery. He and Rover raced back to their makeshift spaceship just as Earth sank below the lunar mountains. Blastoff was loud but smooth, and soon familiar stars welcomed them home. Milo's townsfolk crowded around eagerly as Rover 1 touched down. "What did you find?" they asked. Milo excitedly showed his samples and described glowing pools and possible moon fairies. Though no one could prove his tale, Milo knew what he saw was real. Days later, as Milo stargazed, the moon's face smiled down at the curious boy. He dreamed of future voyages, knowing that the greatest wonders could be found right in his own backyard. The end. As the stars twinkle above, it's time for dreamy tales to bid you good night. May the soothing echoes of our stories linger in your dreams, offering you a serene escape. Until we meet again under the moonlit sky, sleep tight and sweet dreams.